What's up, everyone? Well, we're here today with Adam and Michelle.
Hi.
How's it going?
And we're super stoked to check out this Dodge Ram Cummins with the four-wheel flatbed camper.
We both grew up camping. When we were on our year-long deployment in Afghanistan, we did a 2-week R&R trip to Spain. And at the end of that 2 weeks, I think we were both like, man, this traveling with you is awesome. And we enjoy the travel aspect of going and seeing people, culture, culinary, just like the whole jam of just traveling. We just kind of started talking and going through like, well, what would we want? And we're like, we had a van up in Alaska. We really enjoyed that. But I wanted factory four-wheel drive just for reliability and parts and components to like replace. So truck camper idea was born.
I wanted a toilet and to be able to stand up.
And the bed being made.
Yep. So,
Everything else was just gravy.
So the truck is 07. We got it in Reno with about 69,000 miles on it. And we have about 114,000 on it right now.
Nice.
So it's a 5.9 Cummins. It's the last year of the pre-emissions, so we can kind of run any diesel we want in it. And when we re-geared it, we added ARB lockers front and rear.
Nice. Yeah, I think re-gearing is like one of the biggest things not a lot of people maybe think about or talk about with big rigs. That's going to help so much.
Yeah,
You
sure.
noticed a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, we went, it bogged down less.
Yeah.
I think if we went with 456s, it would be a lot smoother because we're like at max payload.
Yeah.
All the time. We love the camper from 4 Wheel Campers. The guys are amazing. What little issues we've had, like their customer service has been amazing. Like I would go build or buy a camper from them again or get a used one. I mean, their stuff just lasts forever. Yeah, so we got 35s on the 17s. We love the MTs. We probably have about 20,000 miles on those. And I estimate we'll probably get at least another 10, 15 out of it before we have to swap out.
You got the buck stop bumper and method wheels, and it's all kitted up in the front there.
Yeah, and what we tried to do with the engine compartment is keep most of it stock. The only things that we really changed were put in a BD diesel exhaust brake, which is great. Just on downgrades where you're not having to worry about just running on your brakes the whole time. Put in an S-Pod system just for switch panel stuff because we didn't have anything like that for like all our auxiliary lights. And other than that, like the engine's stock. We got a mild tow tune from Fire Pump Diesel. Ended up going with Carly Dominator 4-inch suspension, which a lot of people say, why'd you put so much money into that? But it keeps the camper so level, even going over just like rough stuff, and at 11,000 pounds, like it shines. Like,
Yeah.
It's hard to describe it until like you get it out and you actually start using it.
I'd say that's a pretty good investment. Suspension on a heavy big rig.
We've loved it.
That's awesome.
Flatbed was built by XP Camper. Like we were actually gonna get another camper on top of this, but it's worked out to where now we have our tunnel box storage. So the tunnel box is from Norweld, and it's just kind of created the package that we run full time in. All the recovery gear, all my tool rolls and everything is here. Our tire patch kit, our jack is in this box. Back left is all our fluids, like important fluids that we would need, whether it's our radiator or like our coolant. On the opposite side would be just our levelers and stuff, and then on the other side is where all our electrical and water hose fill and all that is. It's funny, you get all this storage, and then when you start on the road full time, you have, I feel, more storage than what like our truck can like carry.
Yeah.
Like it looks like we kind of have like dead empty spots, but it's just because we don't need anything else.
Yeah, and it's got to be accessible. Like you want to be able to grab stuff without pulling everything out, right?
Ladder to get the surfboard, and then our solar panel frame that we just keep in here. On the inside of the cab, I had a buddy of mine weld up a box for Pete. So Pete has his own storage box here, and then we have, it's a lockable storage underneath. We have a Snowmaster.
Looks like a part of the truck, doesn't it, Pete? Pete loves it.
So our Snowmaster's been plugged in just directly to our 12 volt in the dash since April. And we've gone up to 4 days without cranking the truck at all. And the fridge has never been unplugged. And it's worked great. So and we don't get any kickbacks from Snowmaster or anybody. I just like throwing out names of like stuff that's worked efficiently for us. I mean, ARB makes a good one. Engel makes a good one. Dometic.
Well, yeah, love the outside. Lots going on there for sure. You got the torque lift steps.
And we added a step to it. So that we got the torque lift steps. We bought it with 5, but since our truck is so high, we needed to actually add a step to it, which is super easy to do. And so now we have 6 steps. Nice. And it was much better for Pete to go in and out.
Yeah.
So I'm always concerned about his safety.
These things are so good for dogs, though. You're right. Like they just, they can do real good on them. Sweet.
So what we'll do next is go inside if you want, hang out here, and then I can show kind of how like the toilet comes in and out.
Yeah, for sure.
We installed.
Cool. Yeah, that's the first thing you see, the Nature's Head right here.
So a lot of people have like looked at it and asked like it was a lot of work to get it to this point. I kind of had to build a framing system, which I'll show you in a second on the inside. Deleted the factory support here to where this rests right on top of the toilet. You're going to be sitting on it anyways, so these slides are weight rated and everything. So the bench doesn't even move. And it just slides out.
Nice.
Use your business. We had to cut a hole in the brand new camper for the vent here. A few people said that we're not gonna want it there. It's gonna have like the poo smell and all that stuff, and it just has that earthy smell. So I mean, I think either a lot of people overthink it, or maybe they need to dump their toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not supposed to stay in there forever, right?
Right.
That's good. I love what you've done with the fishing poles there too.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
grew up fishing, and the goal is to keep on fishing as we're on the road. And we just bought these guys off Amazon. I mean, they're not anything like crazy fancy.
Oh, cool.
We upgraded from the Fantastic fan to the Max fan. So that gives us where we can do temperature sets, and there's 10 speeds. So when you're trying to like exhaust air out when you have your heater on, the low setting on a Fantastic fan is just diminishing your heat and just pulling it out so fast. The lower setting I feel is more efficient. You have more fluidity with it. Built this guy for our knives. When I built this, my little brother was actually building my surfboard, which is wild. So the epoxy on my surfboard is the same epoxy that's on this wave, which is
that's
just
cool.
neat. That
I really like stuff like that. That's fun.
Deleted the glass top for just a cutting board. Got a 15-inch, flattened off the back. Put wing nuts on it. Pretty simple, but now we don't have to worry about storing our cutting board.
That's a really cool mod to that Dometic sink. I like that a lot. That's really homey. Nice work.
So when we made the H2O guzzle, I had to make a frame to house the entire water filtration system. So when it comes on, the light shows, when the light's on, it shows that the UV is burning on the backside and then it's operating fine.
Cool.
And then it shuts off. So it only uses power when the water is flowing through the system. Otherwise, it's not pulling anything from your guy. And we keep this off all the time, just trying to be as power conservative as possible with all the additions that we've added. The only, I think, other thing from stock that we've added was we added the Frawley System to our bed. It's nothing against what full camper uses. Everybody's comfort level is going to be different. But we wanted to not have a topper on top of this. There's also people that we had read about that have like the moisture concern. Moisture concern. The condensation underneath the bed. So we figured we killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and this thing sleeps amazing now. With that, we had to delete the slide. So from factory, you can have the slide where your bed comes out to these stops, and that slides up underneath this. So I say I deleted it, but this is a queen size bed shy of, so this is 60 inches and a queen size bed 64. Mm-hmm. So you're only losing 4 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, that Frawley bed system's really cool. I've seen it on the Cirrus campers, and like you said, just giving you a little bit of a gap, so you're not going to get any condensation under there. Heat even can get under there a little bit, and that's cool. Wow, yeah, massive storage for all the clothes under there. That's
Clothes,
great.
and then our other foldable solar panel, and then our outdoor table packs in here.
Nice.
Another cool thing that when we were actually getting our camper at 4-Wheel Camper, Aaron, when we did our walk around, he was talking about people adding stuff versus having your thermal pack in here. You can add little guys. So Michelle made these to where it's a little 550 loops, and then you loop this from this side to the other side, and then we have an indoor clothesline.
Oh, cool. So you can dry clothes inside then?
Right.
Very
and
cool.
You just leave, cut the fan on high, and brings air vacuums into the camper.
Nice.
And we were at Expo East, and Michelle, she was actually going to make these, and went over to meet Brad at High Vis just to meet him. He's a veteran Overland member, and I was like, dude, what you make is what Michelle was going to make. So I was like, man, we got to buy a few of those. So we put those on either side of the bed when we're up for a few days, and then throw your books in here, your sunglasses. It's just awesome, easy storage, and the Velcro didn't come on the back, but we just added it to it, and now we've got more storage.
Nice.
You made Pete's bed over there, so we don't always have to keep the dinette down into one big couch.
I mean, I was gonna build something real crazy and over-engineer it, like probably our Nature's Head Toilet guy is, but I ended up just getting a 3/4 by 3 inch, and that with the frame on the back keeps his bed up, and his bed can be down, and we can have half the dinette up for somebody else to sit on the other side.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, so obviously you don't have the shower, do you?
So we do have the shower pan. That was one addition that we got added to our build from 4-Wheel Camper. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing was not to really so much have a shower ability in here, but wet storage. So you come in, you got your wet rain gear, your wet boots, what have you. You can just throw them down there in the bottom and then have no worries versus it being on your floor or on your dinette floor. It flows out.
That is nice. Flush top.
Yeah, Dometic flush top, 2-burner. And we have like the stackable Magnum pots. Magma pots?
Magnum.
Magnum. Those look like some fancy pots with that sloppy joes we had last night. Those were good.
Thanks to
delicious.
Michelle's mom.
Yeah. Really, those were great.
Thanks, Mom.
But those fit perfect on the top, between that and then our Coleman stove that we use outside. And we can go on both our canisters of fuel, and we're running the heater at night just because it's cold out. We go about 7 days on 2 cans of propane.
Nice.
So we're looking to try to make that more efficient over time. But
The fridge is our fridge is a 2-way fridge instead of a 3-way fridge, so it's off of battery or solar.
It's the Overland solar package that you get from 4-Wheel Camper. So it's 165 watt on top, and we got two 220 AGM 6 volts, which give us, so it's half. So we have 110 amp hours, which from what we're realizing now that after we put in the stuff and we've been on the road full time, our vent fan for the toilet runs 24 hours. And I think we probably need a little bit more capacity to be full time. Most people either are going to have solar panels out or they're going to crank their truck and move at the end of the weekend, so they wouldn't have that worry. Whereas we may not move for a couple days and we're eating into our battery bank. So we're looking at potentially expanding that down in Tucson. We talked to a guy that's going to look at our system, and hopefully we can get it a little bit more efficient.
And do you have the thermal pack, or this is
So we don't. So that's just like the regular. So a lot of people will say that the thermal pack will add, and what we've read is just like a couple of degrees, which to us, in all reality, the goal is, 1, not to be super cold.
Yeah.
2, if it's hot, we're going to be outside enjoying the weather, and it's not really going to make a big difference in a humid environment.
Yeah, and it's like, if I'm correct, I think it's like $850 or something.
Yeah, it's not
From
cheap.
4-wheel, right? It's not
really?
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No clue. I don't.
Yeah.
Not something that we wanted. Some people swear by it in theirs. I don't know if we.
I've seen some
drastically-
make their own even too.
It's so wild. So, like a lot of people ask us, like, how do we do this? And I just tell them, make a plan. Put a flag in the sand, backwards plan from that. And you don't have to, like, so people look at ours and like, oh my gosh, like you got this Frawley suspension, which it's free open information. Like, it's an expensive suspension system, but you don't need that to get out. Like, you could get a 92 Ford 1-ton with a 460 in it, and you throw a truck camper in the back, and you can travel the world in that.
You don't
Like-
even need that. You can just do it in a van. You could do it in a car.
Right.
Rooftop tents. Just getting out and doing it is the biggest thing.
It's funny, me and Phil were talking about that this morning while we're over coffee, and it's wild. Like, people always look inner at the vehicle versus stepping out of the vehicle and looking outer where you got.
Yeah.
And looking outer where you got is why we want to be out here. I mean, it's really cool. We got a really fancy toy, it's not new gadgets and stuff, and that helps us get out here. And a lot of people have put in a lot of work beyond us to help us get here. But at the end of the day, like, it's what you want to get out of it and what you're comfortable with. Like,
Totally.
we wanted flatbed campers, so that's what we ended up going with. But like, you don't have to have that to get out.
Yeah, for sure.
Just make a goal and do it.
Cool. I'm excited to see you guys in your adventures, and yeah, if you guys want to follow, I know you're on Instagram. Easygoing journey.
Easygoing journey. Easy_going_journey. Look us up.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're definitely down to mob. But yeah, it was super cool doing a video with you guys. Thanks for sharing, and
Thanks.
yeah, fun hanging. I guess I should tell you to subscribe too, so you don't miss any of these awesome folks and my adventures. But the question is, are you down to mob? Oh, she's a mob!